Facts, facts, facts. Like, yo, she spoke nothing but facts and people get mad. Miss April, yeah, I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna check out the meetings because I know I gotta do it online here in Philly. And I think they be Zoom meetings here in Philly. They've been doing what the hell? My cat don't want to go on. I think they be doing Zoom meetings here when it comes to the board meetings. I don't think they have them yet to be like opened up to the public the way they used to. But yeah, I'm gonna look up online to see when is the Philly school meeting, and I will probably attend that one. So I'm gonna see when is the next upcoming Philly meeting. I have to look it up. I gotta sit down and take a minute and do it. Because when I tell y'all that I'm really caught up between training, getting certified, taking my GED, and then getting ready for this trade. Because all I need to do is just take the test. But this math got me stuck, man. I'm not good at math. And if you don't pass the math test, you don't pass the GD. Hold on 1 second, guys. You painting, baby? All right, I'll be right there. Give me 1 second. Show me your painting when you're done, all right?
I can't see them.
Oh, the light. All right, let me take this off real quick. That's what you was trying to tell me. I'm so sorry, baby. I should have listened a little better. All right. But yeah, I am going to do it. Letitia says, men are way more logical than females. That is one reason I deal with men over women. And that's a fact. Like, if y'all haven't checked out my video that I did, a live, I have an upcoming live. And it says it is for women and men. And I'm hoping to see y'all, on the panel, on the chat, doesn't matter where. But I would love to get y'all opinions and y'all perspectives. Because on this live, it says, I want to know, women, women, can y'all trust women? Can y'all trust other women? Like, I'm about to read y'all. And let me go to my channel real quick. I forgot how I put it down. I wrote it down. I'm tripping. Yeah, right. All right. As women, do you trust other women? As a man, can you trust? Why are women so divided? So that is going to be an open panel, and I would love to see y'all there. I'm about to get back on the video. I'm just checking on the comments real quick. Collectively, we make way too many excuses to take our children out of their schools. It takes 1 hour a day to do homeschool. My son, to do 1 hour a day to homeschool my son. It can be done any day of the week, any time of the day. Well, that's a different homeschool. Wait, Letitia, can I get the name of that homeschool? Because my son has to be from 8 in the morning to all the way to 4:30 in the afternoon in his homeschool. Damn, I like that homeschool. She said 1 hour. I have to really be there because I'm his coach. That's crazy. Yo, and it's from Monday to Friday. I like that. I need the name. If you got a link, can you leave it right there? I don't know if anybody in Philadelphia can use it or anywhere in any other state, but can I see the link? That's a good idea. I didn't know that. See, it's good. See, each one teach one. It's good when we do podcasts like this and we all talk to each other, respect each other. Look at how much information can be put out there that a lot of people may not even know. I didn't know there was another way that you could do homeschool. Real shit. But we like our 8-hour freedoms from our own babies instead. That's crazy because my son goes to school 8 hours and I don't have no freedom. Can I get the same type of freedom? Shit. I don't know how many posts I see about how parents collectively can't wait for their babies to go back to that colonizer indoctrination. Racheal, you know how to say the word babysitter system. And that's a fact. I've made videos on that. Like, I don't understand what crosses through a woman's head when she's like, oh my God, I can't wait for school to start. Like, why? Listen, if we're not doing nothing, what's the problem with you sitting with your child 8 hours a day? Well, I got to do 8 hours. Because if I'm not coaching, I have to do something. Godfather got to step in. So, yeah. I like Letitia's homeschool. I want to see if I can get it. Real shit. I know she's right because I know that the other, you got. Let me ask you a question. That's private, ain't it? Private homeschooling where you teach, you're the teacher, and you do the curriculum and all that. I'm just curious because I know there's like another way other than the one that I got where the teacher teaches and I'm the coach. And if I'm not there, he has to have another coach. So his is from 8 to 4:30. I like her homeschool, yo. Letitia, my parents was very upset with me yesterday because the right before I tried to stay up post 11 p.m. UK time to watch a YouTube live stream. Oh snap! They not wrong, young Rias. Like even me, like even if you're not there, I know why you're not there. Like, listen, we all got a real life outside of YouTube. Real shit. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me how folks can't stand to be around their own babies. I ask myself that question. It's like, do you hate your baby? Why bring it into this world? Letitia, I do online Islamic lessons. So true. Is it more easier for me to share stuff with women because I am very soft guy? You probably feel a little more comfortable with a woman than a man, young Rios. It's like my son. He feels comfortable with a lot of women because he's comfortable with me. He has more of a bond with me as his mom than anybody else. And he's not soft. So and you and him got that one thing in common. He's comfortable with other women talking than what he is with other men. I think it's a man thing because it's not the first time I've heard a man say that. They feel comfortable talking with certain women, certain things than what they do with other men. Rachel, I've homeschooled with my own curriculum, Rachel. Every state is different. Yeah, okay. No, we have it too. I just didn't know that you could do it for an hour. I thought that, since I saw when I first started, it was with the teachers introducing me, the principal, and all that stuff. And then they told me how many hours. They talked a little bit about the private one where I, picked the curriculums and all that. But I thought it was going to be like an 8-hour thing. I'm like, how am I going to work? How am I going to do this if I have to be, I don't know how to do this. Like, and then I don't know shit about math. Like, I know math. I'm not going to make myself look stupid or dumb. My thing is, I hate division. Like, I got to the point where I hated division because I don't understand division. To me, it makes no sense. But I understand algebra. Ain't that some shit? I understand algebra, but not division. It's the division part for me. Like, I hate it. And even the parts of algebra that got division, I don't like it because it makes no sense to me. Y'all want to sit here and confuse a bitch with all these numbers. Damn, I said, Rachel, you want to sit here and confuse a shorty with all these numbers. Yeah, I like that. Damn, I didn't know it was like that. I'm about to consider it, yo, for real, for real. If you are using a program, you will have time constraints based on their program. Okay. I didn't know. No, it's actual teachers behind the screen. And I get books, laptops, everything sent to me on the homeschool. It's called Agora Cyber Charter School. And it's online and they got it worldwide. It's nationwide. If you are using a program, you will have time constraints based on their program. Letitia, interesting. Yeah, what Letitia just said is interesting because they did not. I'm gonna be very honest. When they were explaining about me picking the curriculums to teach them, they didn't say what Letitia is explaining to me right now. They explain it in a whole different way, which may be like, oh shit, now I'm gonna be confused and I don't want to teach my son something wrong. Yo, I'm really considering switching now. Instead of just homeschooling with the teacher behind the screen and the coach, I'm going to be the teacher. It's not a bad idea. I didn't think about it like that because it wasn't explained to me the way she just did it. Rachel, what I heard from you today and the passion in your voice, you needed to be fighting at the school district. I'm gonna go. Trust me, and I'm gonna upload when I go. And if it's online virtual, then I do a live with the virtual. If I'm able to, yeah, I should be able to do it. Everyone have a great day. Letitia and Riaz. Rachel, your voice is needed. Thank you, Miss April Showers. I hope you have a blessed and humble day. I hope you continue to have a blessed and humble day. I hope you enjoy your day and your day goes well. And thank you for stopping by and showing a shorty support. Math was my worst subject. It's always, listen, I don't like math. When Kai gets older, I might put him into the online homeschooling program. He will need to know how to use a laptop. Okay. I just learned something real new. All right, let's get back on topics. I just caught up with all the messages in the chat. Now let's look at the video and let's hear what they got to say. Let's get back on topic.
So I would hope that you would endorse that idea. I recognize you're not lawyers. You're not in the business of litigating, but I'm hoping that you would support that idea. I see nodding heads for the record. Let me turn to also to recap the very important comments that you all have made about elections, to take action against deep fakes, against impersonation, whether it's by labeling or watermarks, some kind of disclosure without censorship. We don't want a ministry of truth. We want to preserve civil rights and liberties. The free speech rights are fundamental to our democracy. But the kinds of manipulation that can take place in an election, including interfering with vote counts, misdirection to election officials about what's happening, presents a very dangerous specter. Superhuman AI. Superhuman AI. I think all of you agree we're not decades away. We're perhaps just a couple of years away. And you describe it, well, all of you do, in terms of the biologic effects, the development of viruses, pandemics, toxic chemicals. But superhuman AI evokes for me artificial intelligence that could, on its own, develop a pandemic virus. On its own, decide Joe Biden shouldn't be our next president. On its own, decide that the water supply of Washington, D.C. should be contaminated with some kind of chemical, and have the knowledge to do it through public utility system.
What happened?
And I think that argues for the urgency, and these are not sort of science fiction anymore.
My bad, Letitia. I had the mic on mute. Yeah, I'm gonna do it, but see, a lot of people forget that I fought the school district. I won the lawsuit against them, and they be giving me the go around. Like they mad at me. They're not just mad at me. They mad at any parent that had took them to court and fought them and won a case against them. Like they really pissed at me. Like ever since I began to go around with them, like they tell me this, they tell me that. Like they can't make up their mind. So I tell everybody, I'm like, yo, they get pissed off at me. Like I've been trying to get my son's working papers for the last couple of months. It's to the point where I have to do it to where I'm getting certified. It's a place called CareerLink, and I'm getting certified there for a couple things. So they're gonna get my son's working papers and they're gonna train him to go to work. He's 13, going on 14. So it's to the point where I'm doing it with them because the school system just gives me the fucking go around. You see this? You see this face right here? Hold on. Y'all see this face right here? Yeah, I fought them. Yeah. I challenged them. Yeah, I went against them. And they mad as shit at me. And guess what? I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep talking. I'm not going to shut the fuck up like they wanted me to. They told me to tell my son to give up his rights. And guess what? No, I fought as a mother should fight for her son. I'm not going to give up my son's rights. No. For what? For y'all to put him in the system and his life is over there? No. I still got rights over my son. It's my child. I gave birth to him. And I'm fighting. I'm fighting for a better future for him. But all parents out there, don't be scared. That's why I keep saying it. Stand up. If you are in the right, you can stand up. I know I was in the right. They did my son dirty. And then they try to play me. Fuck no, I wasn't sitting down and taking that one. No. I apologize. Go sit down. See? Rachel! I'm here cursing. You see that? I just noticed that she was there. Bye. It's kids. Kids will be kids. I apologize. I'm sorry. I don't have no ones on me. That's my wallet. Don't judge. I'm going to give you $1 for cursing. I'm so sorry. But anyways, bye. Anyways, we shouldn't be afraid. We need to stand up for our kids. And especially if you're in the right. Like, come on, man. Our kids are losing their lives through suicide or because somebody's taking them. They're getting sexually molested in schools and much more. And it's crazy that the adults that are supposed to be here protecting our kids are a part of it too. So shout out to all them teachers out there that by any means necessary, they don't care about a check. They out here. They're educating our kids and helping our kids reach whatever goal they have to reach and be a better person and have a better future. But that's my opinion. I'm not ever going to give up. But yeah, the school system is kind of mad at it, Shorty. So for those of you that don't know, the school system's mad at me. And listen, there's nothing I could do about that. So instead of me getting pissed off at them because they're giving me the go around and sending me here, sending me there, doing this, doing that. Listen, it took me months me going from school to school because they're saying, oh, you don't get it here. You got to go over here. You got to go over there to get his. He's online. He's going to school at a charter school online. They send me to y'all. Now y'all sending me here. Y'all sending me there. This school sending me there. I'm done. I got to the point where I said, fuck it. What do I do? Because they fucking with me. Like, what the fuck do I do? So fuck it. If you got pool elsewhere, use that pool. And that's what I do. I use the pool that I got elsewhere. Because sometimes, listen, it may be a slow ride, but you're going to get where you have to get to. Like, use the pool that you got until you're able to do what you got to do. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm using the pool that I got until I get to where I have to be. So I'm trying, though. I'm trying. But I'm trying to do it the right way. Not get pissed off, not get aggravated, not, take it out on somebody because I couldn't do it the way I had to do it or, show or prove the point that I had to prove. So I'm also working on my anger issue still. Like, yeah. And them people, they got a way of pissing you off like this. But yeah, I'm trying. Trust me. I need to get a grade book for Kai so I can have an inventory of what all he's been taught. That way, if the man comes to my door, I can show them what he's been taught. For now, I have all this work from kindergarten to prove he's been taught at home, and he's just not here chilling. Facts. Oh, wait. Wait. I just read that, didn't I? Why is it all the way up there? All right, here we go. Letitia, if I had kids in the future, I would rather put them in Islamic school instead. Letitia, or homeschooling is better with a mainstream curriculum. It was muted earlier. Not sure if you were saying something. I was, and I peeped it, and then I fixed it. Rachel, I went to Catholic Main Street Secondary School from 2016 to 2019. Homeschooling ain't bad. I'm not mad at my child being homeschooled though. Real shit. That's why I want to start my business at home, because it's easier for me to attend them while they're homeschooled. Rachel, my dad had to fight for my entitled support. Hey, cutie pie. Like my shorty, yeah. Which is better, Islamic school or homeschool? I'm not sure. I've never been to Islamic school, so we would have to ask somebody else that's been in Islamic school. Young Riaz, is your decision to make. I'm not a religious person, so I'm based by it. Biased. Yeah, and would pick homeschooling over a religious school, hun. I understand, Letitia. Facts. Young Riaz, I think a lot of us just, I don't know. I believe in God. I feel as though like I feel like the Muslim religion, the Islamic, I'm not sure if it's the same, but I feel like the is it Islamic? I think it is. You know, the people that are Muslims and stuff like that that actually do follow the, but I feel as though they're the closest people that, how can I say it, follow their culture, their house, their religion, right? Because I've seen so many religions talk about religion, but they do the complete opposite. So I'm kind of confused because I hear them preach the Bible, I hear them say this, but everybody's been sinning. Like we've had kids out of wedlock, people eat pork, people have sex before getting married, people are still killing, people are, there's moms stealing sons, and daughters, baby daddies, there's dads sleeping with sons' girlfriends, like there's so much incest going on now that it's not even a joke, that it's like Saddam and Gomorrah all over again. And I know I said it a little messed up, but don't judge it, shorty. Like it's just so much. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, y'all say y'all Christians, Catholics, Pentecostals, y'all say y'all all of this. But it's like as soon as somebody says, look, listen, I don't want to be a part of a religion, I just want to learn for right now. Y'all get mad because y'all can't convert somebody, or y'all try to convince somebody that it has to be this way. But the Bible is telling me, what you're reading to me is telling me the complete opposite of what you're telling me. So it's completely telling me the opposite. So I feel as though y'all hypocrites. Y'all contradicting yourselves because the Bible is saying one thing, but y'all are saying the complete opposite. So I feel as though like the Islamic, the Muslim way is the closest to people keeping it real to their religion. And if it's true, then they're really close to God. But other than that, I feel as though I gotta believe in God. Nothing more, nothing less. I believe in Him, and I should be good. I feel like, I don't know. It's hard to kind of explain because I've been lied to so much when it comes to religion that it's kind of like I just prefer to be me. I believe in God. Like we know He exists. We know that good and evil is there, but at the end of the day, everybody does the complete opposite of what that Bible is saying. Am I going to actually really see people get married and have kids at marriage, through marriage? Are we going to stop seeing people have sex out of, without being married? Are we going to actually wait to have sex to get married? See, can you go over there and let mommy talk, and then when I'm done, I'll let you talk. I'll be right there. All right, give me 1 second, guys. So let's let the video play. So I broke it down the best way that I can, but I feel as though that a lot of people that go through religion are hypocritical, and that's my opinion. I don't know how Letitia feels, but she has her reasons, and a lot of people have their reasons for not believing in a religion. See, like I feel as though that the word of God could be real. It's possible, like it's just that the Bible changes up so much, but it's crazy that we're living the Bible, right? If it's not real, what is in these pages, then what are we living? But that's a topic for another day. And I wouldn't mind having it as long as we have grown folks conversations. Like those are topics that I wouldn't mind having on my podcast. And like I said, it's the podcast, let's talk about it all. It's a topic that I wouldn't mind having without, having people be in their feelings and feeling some type of way. Because a lot of people get offended for some reason when there's no reason for you to get offended because somebody has their own opinion. Real shit. If I don't want to be Catholic, I shouldn't have to feel like you're pressuring me to be Catholic, or I'm not human because I'm not Catholic. If I was, like I told people, I have no religion, but if I was to have a religion, I would be a Muslim. I would kind of be like Islamic, because at the end of the day, it's fucked up, the stories we hear and shit. But they're the only ones that follow their religion to a T. It's just crazy, period. And that could probably be my reason too. I've never really thought about it, but it's something that I'm not religious. I tell people that I believe in God. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Young Riaz, I choose not to be religious. I'm a spiritual being. Having a human experience. God is a man-made construct, and God means creator. So if God means creator, then I am the God of my own universe, and that's a fact. And Young Riaz, you remember when Sophia Stewart was talking about the Matrix, and she explained why she named it the Matrix, and it's in the Bible and all that. It's the wound. The definition of a matrix is the wound, and who has wounds? Women. So what's in the wound? A child. It's like giving birth to something. So if y'all, those of y'all that missed the interview with Sophia Store is there, I will be doing another one, but I'm gonna do it on a whole, Sophia Store interview type of thing by itself, not here, not with the robot thing, or I might do it on part 7. All right, my bad. I had to attend my daughter real quick, but yeah, a lot of us is shit. Facts on top. You can't listen. You can't sit here and knock somebody's opinion because of how they feel and what they think is their opinion. So Young Riaz, Letitia, they both make good points. Shit, even I don't have a religion for the reasons that I gave it. But let's get back on topic, guys. I gotta heat up some tortillas for my daughter so that she can eat some tacos. She wants some tacos at 10:40 in the morning. So I'm gonna let this play for 1 second while I heat these tortillas up so she can eat her tacos.
Describe them in your testimony. Others have done it as well. So I think your warning to us has really graphic content, and it ought to give us impetus with that kind of urgency to develop an entity that can not only establish standards and rules, but also research on countermeasures that detect those misdirections, whether they're the result of malign actors or mistakes by AI or malign operation of AI itself. Do you think those countermeasures are within our reach as human beings? And is that a function for an entity like this one to develop?
Yes, I mean, I think this is one of the core things that, whether it's the bio risks from models that, I kind of stated in testimony, are likely to come in 2 to 3 years, or the risks from truly autonomous models, which I think are more than that, but might not be a whole lot more than that. I think this idea of being able to even measure that the risk is there is really the critical thing. If we can't measure, then we can put in place all of these regulatory apparatus, but it'll all be a rubber stamp. And so funding for the measurement apparatus and the enforcement apparatus working in concert is really going to be central here. I mean, our suggestion was NIST and the National AI Research Cloud, which can help kind of allow a wider range of researchers to study these risks and develop countermeasures. So I think that that seems like a very important measure. I'm worried about our ability to do this in time, but we have to try and we have to put in all the effort that we can.
Mr. Benjo?
Yes, I completely agree. About the timeline, there's a lot of uncertainty. So as I wrote in my testimony, it could be a few years, but it could also be a couple of decades, because research is impossible to predict. But if we follow the trend, it's very concerning. And regulation, liability, they will help a lot. My calculations is, we could reduce the probability of a rogue AI showing up by maybe a factor of 100 if we do the right things in terms of regulation. So it's really worth it. But it's not going to bring those risks to zero. And especially for bad actors that don't follow the rules anyways. So we need that investment in countermeasures, and AI is going to help us with that, but we have to do it carefully so that we don't create the problem that we're trying to solve in the first place. Another aspect of this is it's not just AI. It needs to bring expertise in national security, in bioweapons, chemical weapons, and AI people together. The organizations that are going to do that, in my opinion, shouldn't be for profit. We shouldn't mix the objective of making money, which makes a lot of sense in our economic system, with the objective, which should be single-minded, of defending humanity against a potential rogue AI. Also, I think we should be very careful to do this with our allies in the world and not do it alone. There is, first, we can have a diverse set of approaches because we don't know how to really do this. We are hoping that as we move forward.
And you could tell that even he is scared. That's crazy. He's scared of the robots coming and taking over.
And we try to solve the problem, we'll find solutions. But we need a diversity of approaches. And we also need some kind of robustness against the possibility that one of the governments involved in this kind of research isn't democratic anymore for some reason, right? This can happen. We don't want a country that was democratic and has power over a superhuman AI to be the only country working on this. We need a resilient system of partners so that if one of them ends up being a bad actor, the others are there.
Thank you very much. I'll turn to Professor Russell if you have a comment.
Yeah, so I completely agree that if there is a body that's set up, that it should be enabled to fund and coordinate this type of research. And I completely agree with the other witnesses that we haven't solved the problem yet. I think there are a number of approaches that are promising. I tend towards approaches that provide mathematical guarantees rather than just sort of best effort guarantees. And we've seen that in the nuclear area, where originally the standard, I believe, was you could have a major core accident every 10,000 years, and you had to demonstrate that your system design met that requirement. Then it was 1 million years, and now it's 10 million years. And so that's progress. And it comes from actually having a real scientific understanding of the materials, the designs, redundancy, etc. And we are just in the infant stages of a corresponding understanding of the AI systems that we're building. I would also say that no government agency is going to be able to match the resources that are going into the creation of these AI systems. The numbers I've seen are roughly $10 billion a month going into AGI startups. And just for comparison, that's about 10 times the amount of the entire National Science Foundation of the United States, which has to cover physics, chemistry, basic biology, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So how do we get that resource flow directed towards safety? I actually believe that the involuntary recall provisions that I mentioned would have that effect. Because if a company puts out a system that violates one of the rules, and then is recalled until the company can demonstrate that it will never do that again, then the company can go out of business. So they have a very strong incentive to actually understand how their systems work. And if they can't, to redesign their systems so that they do understand how they work. That just seems like basic common sense to me. I also want to mention on rogue AI, right? The
Facts. But the problem is that common sense isn't common sense no more. And like the mill ticket said on the last live, he said it. What happens when they go rogue? Y'all haven't been able to answer that question. None of y'all have really been able to answer that question. None of them. Not in the committee meeting, not in the Senate hearing. Can't none of them answer the question, what are they going to do when these robots go rogue? And my question is, when they go rogue, is it because somebody makes them go rogue, or is it an malfunction in the system that would make them go rogue? That's one of the biggest questions that I have.
bad actors. Professor Bengio has mentioned an approach based on AI systems that are developed to try to counteract that possibility. But I also feel that we may end up needing a very different kind of digital ecosystem in general. And what do I mean by that? Right now, to a first approximation, a computer runs any piece of binary code that you load into it. We put layers on top of that that say, okay, that looks like a virus, I'm not running that. We actually need to go the other way around. The system should not run any piece of binary code unless it can prove to itself that this is a safe piece of code to run. So it's sort of flipping the notion of permission. And with that approach, I think we could actually have a chance of preventing bad actors from being able to circumvent these controls, because for them to develop their own hardware resources is into the tens or hundreds of billions of dollars. And so that's an approach I would recommend.
I have more questions, but I'm going to turn to Senator Hawley.
Let's talk a little bit about national security and AI, if we could. Mr. Amadei, to come back to you, you mentioned in your written testimony, in your policy recommendations, your first recommendation, in fact, is the United States must secure the AI supply chain. And then you mentioned immediately, as an example of this, chips used for training AI systems. Where are most of the chips made now? I think your microphone, I think maybe. That's okay. Everyone's eager to hear what you have to say. Go ahead.
Yes, what I had in mind here, yes, is that there are certain bottlenecks in the production of AI systems. That ranges from semiconductor manufacturing equipment to chips to the actual produced systems, which then have to be stored on a server somewhere, and in theory could be stolen or released in an uncontrolled way. So I think, compared to some of the more software elements, those are areas where there are substantially more bottlenecks.
Well, so, okay, understood. But we've heard a lot about chips, GPUs, about the shortage of them. My question is, and maybe you don't know the answer to this, maybe somebody else does, but do you know where most of them are currently manufactured?
Yeah, there are a number of steps in the production process for chips, right? Do you produce the raw chip or the actual GPU? Those happen in a number of places.
For example,
so an important player on the kind of like making the base fabrication side would be TSMC, which is in Taiwan, and then within
Yep, and Young Riaz has been speaking on the censorship, so shout out to Young Riaz. He's been speaking about this way before you even heard it.
Companies like NVIDIA within the United States, then produce those into GPUs. And I don't know exactly where that process happens. It could be in a large number of places.
As part of securing our supply chain here in this area, should we consider limitations, if not outright prohibitions, on components that are manufactured in China?
I think on that particular issue, that's not one where I have a huge amount of knowledge. I mean, I think we should think a little bit in the other direction of, are things that are produced by our supply chain, do they end up in places that we don't want them to be? So we've worried a lot about that in the context of models. We just had a blog post out today about AI models saying, hey, you might have spent a large number of millions of dollars, maybe someday it's going to be billions of dollars to train an AI system. And then, you don't want some state actor or criminal or rogue organization to then steal that and, use it in some irresponsible way that you don't endorse.
Let me get at this problem from a just slightly different angle, which is, let's imagine a hypothetical in which the communist government of Beijing decides to launch an invasion of Taiwan. And let's imagine, and sadly, it doesn't take very much imagination, let's imagine that they're successful in doing so. Just give me a back of the envelope forecast. What might that do to AI production?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not an economist and it's hard to forecast, but a very large fraction of the chips are indeed, somewhere go through the supply chain in Taiwan. So I think there's no doubt that that is a hot spot and, something that we should be concerned about for sure.
Do either of the other panelists want to say anything on this about Professor Russell, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, there are studies. My colleague Orville Schell, who's a China expert, has been working on a study of these issues. There are already plans to diversify away from Taiwan. TSMC is trying to create a plant in the US. Intel is now building some very large plants in the US and in Germany, I believe. So, but it's taking time. I think if the invasion that you mentioned happened tomorrow, we would be in a huge amount of trouble. As far as I understand it, to sabotage the operations in Taiwan if an invasion were to take place. So it's not that all that capacity would then be taken over by China.
What's sad about that scenario is that would be the best case scenario, right? I mean, if there's an invasion of Taiwan, the best we could hope for is maybe all of their capacity or most of it gets sabotaged and maybe the whole world has to be in the dark for however long. That's the best case scenario. The point I'm trying to make is I think your point, Mr. Amodei, about securing our supply chains is absolutely critical, and thinking very seriously about decoupling efforts, strategic decoupling efforts, I think is absolutely vital at every point of the supply chain that we can. I think we don't do that with China soon. Frankly, we should have done it a long time ago. If we don't do it very, very quickly, I think we're in real trouble, and I think we've got to think seriously about what may happen in the event of a Taiwan invasion. Yeah, go ahead.
Blessings, Lake and Kisses. Blessings. My bad. I had to step out to the store and get my daughter something to drink. Blessings, blessings. I'm going to just take it back a couple of seconds because I kind of missed it.
Right? I mean, if there's an invasion of Taiwan, the best we could hope for is maybe all of their capacity or most of it gets sabotaged and maybe the whole world has to be in the dark for however long. That's the best case scenario. The point I'm trying to make is I think your point, Mr. Amodei, about securing our supply chains is absolutely.
All right, let me pause in my bed. So I just got back from the store. I ran out real quick. All right, Lake and Kisser says, I think they're playing with fire. Them robot might malfunction, laughing my ass off. Yeah, it's facts. We've been saying it. They playing with a lot of fire. And I was taught that, listen, if you can't take, listen, if you can't get burnt, you can't take the heat, don't play with fire. That's some real shit. All this might backfire, and it's just crazy. Like, and they're trying. Like, I know that on part 7 is going to be about a judge rejecting the idea of an artificial intelligence judge being in a courtroom prosecuting inmates. So that's going to be part 7. Like I said, it's going to be a part 7 to this. I just got to do all the other lives. But thank you, everybody, for showing support. Damn, I missed it, so let's play this real quick so I can react to it.
Absolutely critical. And thinking very seriously about decoupling efforts, strategic decoupling efforts, I think is absolutely vital at every point of the supply chain that we can. I think we don't do that with China soon. Frankly, we should have done it a long time ago. If we don't do it very, very quickly, I think we're in real trouble, and I think we've got to think seriously about what may happen in the event of a Taiwan invasion. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to emphasize Professor Russell's point even more strongly, that we are trying to move some of the chip fab production capabilities to the U.S., but that needs to be faster, right? We're talking about 2 to 3 years for some of these very scary applications, and maybe not much longer than that for truly autonomous AI. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the timelines for moving these production facilities look more like 5 years, 7 years, and we've only started on a small component of them. So just to emphasize this, I think this is absolutely essential.
Yeah, good. Let me ask you about a different issue related to labor overseas and labor exploitation. The Wall Street Journal published a piece today entitled "Cleaning Up ChatGPT Takes Heavy Toll on Human Workers." Contractors in Kenya say they were traumatized by the effort to screen out descriptions of violence and sexual abuse during the run-up to OpenAI's hit chatbot, namely ChatGPT. The article details the widespread use of labor in Kenya to do this training work on the ChatGPT model. I encourage everyone to read it, and I'd like to ask the chairman to be able to enter this into the record.
Without objection.
One of the a couple of disturbing things. I mean, one is that we're talking about 1,000 or more workers outsourced overseas. We're talking about exploitation of those workers. They work round the clock. The material they're exposed to is incredible, and I'm sure extremely damaging, and that constitutes an issue of lawsuits that they're now bringing. Here's another interesting tidbit. The workers on the project were paid an average of between $1.46 an hour and $3.74 an hour. Let me say that again. The workers on the project were paid on average between $1.46 an hour and $3.74 an hour. Now, OpenAI says, oh, we thought that they were being paid over $12 an hour. And so we have the classic corporate outsource maneuver, where a company outsources jobs, couldn't be done in the United States, outsources jobs.
So that leads back to the question that I asked before. I'm not sure if it was on part 2 or part 3. Will robots be taking over people's jobs? Should we be concerned? There's a poll up, guys. If y'all don't mind taking the time to well, where am I at? Okay, if y'all don't mind taking the time to take the poll and let a Shorty know what y'all think. Should we take action? Should we wait? Or should we let the government handle it? I want to thank everybody that, has, filled out the poll, voted on the poll and stuff like that, because it does help a Shorty out. If you haven't, take a minute. Let a Shorty know what y'all think. Leave y'all comments down below. Because this is crazy. Did I unmute myself this time? Yeah. It's going to be more unemployment. It's going to affect, that's why they're fighting the copyrights and all that. Like, it's going to affect a lot of jobs. But for those of y'all that are stuck at home, sitting down, waiting, talking about, oh my God, we're waiting for the Jetsons era to come. We're in it. We're the Flintstones. And all the rich people and the people coming up with these ideas are the Jetsons. Just a little food for thought. Don't get mad at me. It's just what's out there.
Exploits foreign workers to do it and then says, oh, we don't know anything about it. We're asking them to engage in this psychologically harmful activity. We're probably overworking them doing it, and we're not paying them. But, oops. I guess my question is, how widespread is this in the AI industry? Because it strikes me that we're told that AI is new and it's a whole new kind of industry and it's glittering and it's almost...
He just proved my point there. And I've been saying it. For those of y'all thinking that this is something new, they just been exposing the truth little by little to us. That's the best way that I can say it, so that I won't get a strike on here. Like, I hope y'all ready. Is y'all ready? Y'all wanted the Matrix? We've been in the Matrix. But guess who's coming? The Terminators, Morpheus, Back to the Future.
Magical, and yet it looks like it depends in critical respects on very old-fashioned, disgusting, immoral labor exploitation. So go ahead, Mr. Amadei.
Yes, so this is actually one area where Anthropic has a substantially different approach from the one that you've described. I can't speak for what other companies are doing, but a couple points. One is this constitutional AI method, which I mentioned, is a way for one copy of the AI system to moderate or help to train another copy of the AI system. This is something that reduces, it does not eliminate, but it substantially reduces the need for the kind of human labor that you're describing. Second, in our own contracting practices, and I would have to talk to you directly for exact numbers, but I believe that the companies we contract out to are something like northwards of 75% workers from the U.S. and Canada, and all paid above the California minimum wage. So I share your concern about these issues, and we're committed to both developing research that kind of obviates the need.
You are part of this. You want this to happen. You've been making excuse after excuse. You and a lot of the people from the committee meeting, and a lot of people sitting here with you. So shout out to them people that put the pressure on y'all, because if they didn't put this pressure on y'all, a lot of us wouldn't put 2 and 2 together. So shout out, like I said earlier, for all those out there, the analytics and statistics are showing. They're showing them. We're helping them put away pedophiles and predators and groomers and R-word people. Like, I could just keep going down the line. But y'all will catch on to what I'm saying when y'all catch the replay. But it's crazy because she did ask him that tough question. And right now it's something that is affecting our web, our social media. Our kids are easily being lured, are easily targeted more now, like, than ever before, because they're using social media for things that they're not supposed to. Like, make it make sense, yo. Logic don't exist no more. And listen, shit, this shit is crazy.
Need for some of this kind of moderation, and not exploiting these workers.
Well, it's good, because here's, I think, what would be terrible to see is this new technology that is built by foreign workers, not American workers. That seems like the same old story we've heard for 30, 40 years in this country, where we're told, oh no, American workers, they cost too much. They're American workers, they're just too demanding. American workers, they don't have the skills, so we're going to outsource it. We're going to give it to other foreign workers. Then you mistreat the foreign workers. Then you don't pay the foreign workers. And then who benefits from it at the end of the day? These few companies that we talked about earlier who make all the profit and control of it. That seems like an old story that I frankly don't want to see replicated again. That seems like a dystopia, not like a new future. So I think it's critical that we find out what the labor practices are of these companies. I'm glad that you're charting a different course, Mr. Amadei, and certainly we want to hold you to that. But I think it's vital that as we continue to look at how this technology is developing, that we actually push for. What's wrong with having a technology that actually employs people in the United States of America and pays them well? Why shouldn't American workers and American families protected by our labor laws benefit from this technology? I don't think that's too much to ask. And frankly, I think that we ought to expect that of companies in this country who are with access to our markets, who are working on this technology. Chairman.
Thank you. I don't think you'll find much disagreement with that proposition, but to have American workers do those jobs, we need to train them, correct? And you all, in some sense, because you're all teachers, you're all professors, are engaged in that enterprise. Mr. Amadeo, I don't know whether you can be called still a professor, but probably not.
I was never a professor.
But we need to train workers to do these jobs. And for those who want to pause, and some of the experts have written that we should pause AI development, I don't think it's going to happen. We right now have a gold rush, literally much like the gold rush that we had in the Wild West, where in fact there are no rules.
That's what I said earlier. Like it's here now. The question is, what should we do? The it's right there on the poll. If y'all wish to, take a vote and let us Shorty know what y'all think. Y'all can leave y'all comments in the chat. Let us Shorty know. Like, should we take action? Wait to see what the government does? Like, what should we do?
And everybody's trying to get to the gold without very many law enforcers out there preventing the kinds of crimes that can occur. So I am totally in agreement with Senator Hawley in focusing on keeping it in America, made in America when we're talking about AI. And I think he is absolutely right that we need to build those kinds of structures, provide the training and incentives that enable it and enforce it. Let me, though, come back to this issue of national security. Who are our competitors among our adversaries and our allies? Who are closest to the United States in terms of developing AI? Is it China? Are there other adversaries out there that could be rogue nations, not just rogue actors, but rogue nations, and whom we need to bring into some international body of cooperation?
So I think the closest competitor we have is probably the UK.
Oh shit.
In terms of making advances in basic research, both in academia and in DeepMind in particular, which is based in London.
But I thought the lady said they were behind in artificial intelligence. So who's telling the truth?
Now being merged more forcefully into the larger Google organization. But they have a very distinct approach, and they've created an ecosystem in the UK that's really quite productive. I've spent a fair amount of time in China. I was there a month ago talking to the major institutions that are working on AGI. And my sense is that we have slightly overstated the level of threat that they currently present. They've mostly been building copycat systems that turn out not to be nearly as good as the systems that are coming out from Anthropic and OpenAI.
Let me ask y'all a question. Who do y'all think is more ahead? China or London?
And Google. So, but the intent is definitely there. I mean, they've publicly stated their goal to be the world leader, and they are investing probably larger sums of public money than we are in the US, smaller sums in the private sector. The areas where they are actually most effective, and I was actually on a panel in Tianjin for the top 50 Chinese AI startups, and they were giving out awards. But I think about 40 of those 50, their primary customer was state security.
Damn.
So they're extremely good at voice recognition, face recognition, tracking and recognition of humans based on gait, and similar capabilities that are useful for state security. Other areas like reasoning and so on, planning, they're just not in, they're not really that close. So they have a pretty good academic sector that they are in the process of ruining by forcing them to meet numerical publication targets and things like that. They don't give people the freedom to think hard about the most important problems, and they are not producing the basic research breakthroughs.
So don't it sound like what y'all trying to do right now? Y'all trying to legalize all this without having the proper research, without without doing the proper tests, without this being allegedly called perfected. So basically, y'all just trying to imitate China too.
That we've seen both in the academic and the private sector in the US. I'm also
hard to produce a superhuman thinking machine if you don't allow humans to think.
Yep. I've also looked a lot at European countries. I'm working with the French government quite a bit, and I don't think anywhere else is in the same league as those three. Russia in particular has been completely denuded of its experts and was already well behind.
Mr. Bengio, Professor.
On the allied side, there are a few countries, including Canada, from which I come from, that have really important concentration of talent in AI. And in Canada, we've contributed a lot of the principles behind what we're seeing today. There's also a lot of really good European researchers in the UK and outside the UK. So I think that we would all gain by making sure we work with these countries to develop these countermeasures, as well as the improved understanding of the potentially dangerous scenarios and what methodologies in terms of safety can protect us.
You've advocated decentralized labs.
Yes.
But if China and other countries are doing the same thing, how can y'all prevent? Wouldn't it be better for y'all to be together, talk it out, and figure a solution? Because when they go rogue, all of y'all divided, not on the same, how can I say, not on the same page, it's going to cause more havoc and have more consequences than what it is now that y'all united. So either way, restricting certain countries or doing this and doing that, what's going to change if they're here? The question is, what are we going to do?
But under
a common umbrella that would be multilateral. Maybe this could be a good starting place could be Five Eyes or G7, and that would capture pretty much the bulk of the expertise in these very strong AI systems that could be important here.
And there would probably be some way for our entity, our national oversight body doing licensing and registration to still cooperate. In fact, I would guess that's one of the reasons to have a single entity, to be able to work and collaborate with other countries.
There's no doubt that individual countries have their own national security organizations and are going to do their own laws. But the more we can coordinate on this, the better. Of course, I think some of that research should be classified and not shared with anyone, only trusted parties. So
why should it be classified? We the people should know too what's going on. And if anything, in my opinion, we the people should be a part of these meetings that y'all be having behind our backs, and we don't see it until y'all post them online or y'all live.
There are aspects of what we have to do that have to be really broad at the international level. And I think the guidelines or the maybe mandatory rules for safety should be something we do internationally, like with the UN. We want every country to follow some basic rules, because even if they don't have the technology, some rogue actor, even here in the US, might just go and do it somewhere else. And then, viruses, computer or biological viruses.
Oh, that just proved my point. You just proved my point.